Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope you'll remember your towel. Get your Ulu feathers and your needler guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the big tank. To the big tank. The Rocky Mountain Big Tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And this is Geeking.
Your I Totally Dropped the Ball Last Monday sized podcast.
We totally dropped the ball last Monday and sized the podcast.
I was going to do a thing, but Monday turned out to be the day that I left my home. So I was...
And now he's homeless, and it's so sad.
Yeah, I came back.
Oh, now he's not homeless, and it's not as sad.
It's not like the chicken house that followed me, though.
Now
you don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Okay.
All right. Well, today,
how you doing?
We are going to do something completely different than we've ever done before. We're going to wing it.
Oh, I thought you planned something.
Yeah, that would definitely be something we've never done before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got a little bit of news, but if you've got somewhere you'd like to start, you could start first.
Nope. I actually really don't. I feel obligated to say on today's show, and then say something, but then I'm like, I don't have anything to say.
All right.
So what's your news?
All right. So this occurred to me, I can't remember if it was a week or 2 weeks ago. I want to say it was like almost 2 weeks ago. I had this idea. And I like, this is a stupid idea. And I just thought it through and kept thinking about it. And I'm like, no, I really like this idea. But I'm sure somebody's already done it. So I did my research on Google and nobody's done it from what I can find. But I'm going to start a podcast called Posthumorous, where I talk about death.
Oh, I like this.
And I'm going to have a different guest each time. And we'll talk about their experiences with death and their views on it and such.
A lot of zombies.
Well, I've been thinking about it a lot because we're coming up on what they call Remembrance Day, or there's no actual word called Deathiversary, but that's what I think of. We're coming up on the day that Todd passed away.
Right. I have that actually in my calendar.
And it got me thinking about, what do other people do, if anything, when they try to remember a friend who's passed. And of course, not too long ago, all three of us lost a friend of ours. Mm-hmm. So obviously death's been on my mind quite a bit. And one of the things was there's steps that I wish that my brother and my mom,
your mom,
would have taken before they passed that I think would have made things a lot easier for the people they left behind. And wanted to kind of use the chance to have like a podcast to create a document where my kids, when I pass, can go back and look at it, and I'll put in all my stuff in there too, so try to make sure I don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, actually, that was something that was very big on my dad's mind, was because my mom, also, it was messy. I mean, like, she died at 57. It was too early. Nobody expected it. It was a sudden, unexpected heart attack, and she had two kids in their 20s who didn't know what to do. And so when my dad passed, that was a big thing. He was like, let's work all the things so that everything is covered. And even with that, we're still fighting over like all kinds of random dumb stuff. That's why I was gone last week.
Yeah.
It's totally because of dad's stuff.
Even
and
with
he
the planning,
butt off to make sure that every loose end was tied up, and it still ended up a mess.
You can't account for how some people are going to deal with it, and that was where the monkey wrench got thrown in, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, really, very much.
Good evening, Brent. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, Brent. Is this Brent? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to make a joke off of Brent. I don't know. It was like the joke of us having nothing to talk about today, but so I'm just falling short today.
Any case, I took the leap and trademarked the domain name, so
Nice.
that way I've got it if it actually becomes big, as opposed to just Brent watching it.
Right?
I
Which
love
might
that
just be
Brent's here
Brent
all the
watching
time.
it. The stale coffee.
Would that make that stale jokes and bad coffee?
Both of those things are true.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's right. Brent just got here. So I had an idea a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pulling the trigger on it. I'm going to start another podcast, but this one won't be live, and I'll have a different guest each time, and we'll talk about different aspects of death. And I'm calling it Posthumorous as the podcast title. And I talked a little bit to before I had the idea. You and I were talking, Guy, about how you and I deal with death through humor,
Mm-hmm.
and that was, I think, the seed that snowballed into the idea for a podcast show.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea, and I love the idea.
Well, thanks.
It would totally be something I would listen to.
If I do it right.
Then it would be totally something I will listen to once and go, this sucks, and never listen to it again.
And then listen to the episode that you're on.
Right. And listen to just my episode.
Yeah.
Except that it's so funny. I have the William Shatner problem. I don't really like listening to myself.
Nobody likes listening to you, Guy.
Huh? Yeah.
No,
I know. Nobody likes to listen to me. But no, I mean, like, I don't usually watch my streams, and I don't usually watch Geek Tank episodes again unless I have to. And it's mostly because every time I do, I go, I shouldn't have made that joke, or that one fell flat, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm just super critical.
Well, I think what helps when you can do that is you'll get a better feel for the rhythm of your timing with give and take. And through maybe seeing things that you feel like you could do better at, you could then mentally mark that.
Sometimes that's true. I have been working on my give and take, though, preferentially with you live. Because when I'm with you in your basement, we're watching TV, we both do our normal banter as we often do, and I tune it there where I have the ability to back up and do it again if I need to or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's more grace given when we're together, and it's like there's nothing on, we're not online or whatever. I also feel like I have been evolving as an individual, especially over the last few years. And I'm trying to be more honest and, try to be more talk about my feelings and less talk about the things that are going through my head. So people understand and respond better to my feelings than they do to my thoughts. Especially since my thoughts can often be like word salad whenever I say them. So,
any case, that wasn't like a lot to go into. Just one thing going on.
I think that's a great thing. I think it's an awesome idea.
Yeah, I'm going to keep plugging away and planning it because there are things that I feel like I've learned that if we were to redo Geek Tank and start all over again, there are steps that I feel like would have made it better, but only at the start of it. Like we should have recorded more episodes ahead of time.
Yeah.
And or just come right out of the gate doing live shows. Skip the whole editing process.
I agree. I have a suggestion, give or take. You don't have to take it. I thought about this as asking the person, your loved one that we're discussing, what do you think they would have wanted to do to prepare?
Yeah. I was going to try to have at least, a list of regular questions that each guest would get asked. But there would be, each episode would also have a portion of it that's a different topic, because I think different guests would be more interested in specific topics.
Yeah.
Such as death in the media.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'll be happy to sit down and have a little brainstorming session with you on it. I also thought of a podcast that you and I could do besides Geek Tank, but I don't we have the time to do anything. But we're both driving instructors.
Yeah, actually, I was going to do a YouTube, not a YouTube podcast, well, whatever, but I was going to do a YouTube show where I was going to talk about things because I've been learning all kinds of stuff. Like I've found out all about the 1963 Geneva Convention, which has nothing to do with the actual war Geneva Convention. But there was a convention in 63 about like unifying everything. So like red lights all mean stop and green lights all mean go. You know what I mean? And like only 3 countries is in the entire world is that not true. And that's because they had a convention where they all decided on sort of the basic driving rules. And everybody's slightly different, but most people follow pretty much the same rules, which is why, you know, but stuff like that I had learned over the years that was just fascinating and interesting. And then my sister was asking me questions about, well, in this situation, when you have this happening, what's the right here? And I thought that'd be a great thing to have, you know, a segment where someone writes in a question and says, you know, if I'm driving, you know, the other day I got a ticket for doing this. Why? You know.
I was thinking it'd be cool to for us to go over the skills to help people do better as well.
Yeah,
is what I was thinking of. And since it's a show about cars, we could call it Car Talk.
No, nobody would ever. That's such a stupid name. That'd never be popular.
Talk Car. That's Kit.
Dudes talking about cars.
Yeah. But Nick's friend has failed his driving test twice, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, take a drive with me. And it's he's at a point to where he's young, so there's situations he hasn't figured out yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's failing. Like coming up to an unprotected left turn, and the other guy didn't go. And so this kid started to go, and his dad was with us, and his dad's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, you don't have right away. You need to wait, even though they're not going. Because if you go and they go and they hit you, then you were doing the left turn. And
yeah, you were in the wrong.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I feel, and I looked online for various driving shows for tips on driving, and there's not a lot out there. And I found one podcast that's specific about Australia. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help.
Australia, yeah,
doesn't help people here. But yeah,
actually, maybe we do it together because I had been one of the things I've been doing is I've been building animations for our work, and I have a bunch of cars and roads and signals that all turn yellow and red and green, and you know what I mean. Like I've got all the little bits and pieces that we can, you know, someone comes in and says, "Well, I've been thinking about this problem. What do you think?" And if it's a YouTube video, we can release one a month or or 16 a month or 16 one month and one the next month. Or, you know what I mean? Like it's not required for us to do every Monday. So you and I could get together and do 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever. Yeah.
So that's the thing I was thinking of nice about doing pre-recorded stuff is you set up a shooting day and just have your guests stagnated throughout the day.
That's what I was thinking.
So how's your new job, Alex?
Oh man, I'm trying to write an email to my scallywag crew. But
your IndieK crew.
Yep. But no, the new job is doing well so far. I've actually started doing stuff that's helpful to the process of the rest of the team getting stuff done, to get people approved or denied, or to next steps for the social safety net. So that's cool. I don't start the training on processing documents till April 12th, and then that goes to June 2nd, which will be going on right in the middle of my birthday tide. But that's okay. But no, so far so good. Like my team, like my supervisors quite a bit. They're all seem to be fairly. I mean, supervisors especially seem to be really reasonable people, which is very nice. We're going to be doing a after work team building hanging out Thursday evening or Thursday after work. So I've requested dancing and karaoke. We'll see what happens. But
your after work sports team,
right? After work sports team engagement. You know the one, the one, the curry stain. But Yeah, so there's that. No, so far so good. So far so good.
Cool.
Yeah, making decent money. Got my first paycheck last Friday, so paid a bunch of bills,
Nice.
which is always nice.
And somewhat depressing.
Yeah, bill payday. But no, so yeah, so looking forward to more paychecks and stuff. I you know how it goes. Pay more bills and all that, then get to a point where I can start paying ahead on paying down some, credit stuff and all that. So yeah,
Nice.
so far so good.
I'm glad to hear that, actually.
hmm Yep, I ordered up my custom made corset vest, and so far the people that I did that with are very seem to be on the up and up, and they'll be sending me some fabric swatches pretty soon to choose for the thing, and hopefully I'll have it by NDK. If not, then I'll just have to probably take my. I'm not sure I'm going to take my floating holiday as part of my birthday tide, or maybe after NDK, but before Mile High Con. But I should have it definitely by Mile High Con. I'm looking dead
Cool.
sexy.
Cool. Definitely. You got any cool things that you're don't mind sharing to the world that you have planned for NDK for the video game room this year?
Oh, I think we did a pretty big change last year with doing the Beat Saber for charity. So there is we'll be continuing that. We're gonna actually do a rules change, or at least I'm proposing a rules change. We're gonna see what the rest of the crew says. But the rules change being that instead of having people on the door saying no food, no drink, having a rule that says no eating in the VGR, have some signage that says that, and also say that closed container for drinks. So if you take your
cool.
cap off, put your cap back on, all that. So that way, I'll shift a lot of my crew to being roaming instead, and that way we can show more stuff off for passersby walking down the hall.
That is an interesting question. What Guy held up, I don't know if I would exactly call it a closed container. Are you want the container that if it is at any angle it won't leak, or
No, that's good enough. Unless they're
Okay.
assholes, then we kick them out.
gotcha?
Yeah,
Or tell
actually,
them
George has knocked this off like a number of times, and it dribbles a little, but it actually doesn't leak a whole lot. Oddly, I would have
the-
expected a far more destructive thing, but
to go with one of my con mentors things, we make our rules draconian so that we may be merciful.
Hmm.
And another way of looking at that
that's
is that
interesting.
we can sit there and go, that person's being cool, they're not being a jag off. We can sit there and say, okay, well, they're not doing anything, but someone's being an asshole about it, then it's like, get out.
Yeah,
Slash
our rules
stop
are
it.
very strict.
The rule
all of a
says
sudden.
this.
Just for
Yeah.
you.
But
And,
you're not enforced. You're not saying that guy can do it. Yes, you're learning a valuable lesson in enforcement. Rules
The
are only as
audio-
good as they're being enforced. Since you're an asshole,
Mhm.
we're going to enforce them harder on you.
Fair.
In the audio
Lids and
sound
straws
room in
standard
Warren
for
Tech.
kitchen work, says Bob, which makes sense.
In the audio sound room at Warren Tech, they have a it can't leak type
Yes.
rule because they have lots of very expensive equipment. And I figured the
Oh,
video
yeah.
games are not quite at that level, but
No. So, yeah, should be fine. And yeah, for the most part,
Right.
people are chill.
yeah. And I'll talk to you a
So-
little bit about that because I'd like to try to unify the rules across the board for our two rooms, so that way people know the rules in one room, they'll be expecting them in the other room,
Mhm.
type thing.
And your room is in a strange place this year. Did you know that? Did we talk
No,
to you about that?
Nobody talked
You're
to me
about to
about
find
that.
out.
Is it smaller?
About to find out. No. So you're going to be moved back to what was the cosplay green room for this year only. We had this really bizarre thing happen. Apparently, like a week before we signed our contract, way back in like 2020,
Mhm.
these people signed a contract for just this year, and they're taking over Video 1, Video 2, and operations. Those rooms that were Video 1 and 2 in operations to store their stuff for the following week's convention. That's all they want the rooms for. They're not going to put.
Okay.
They're not going. Nobody's going to be in there or anything. They just want to store their stuff. So we ended up having to figure out where to move operations, and operations were going to move temporarily into your space with security and everything like that, so that they can use that forward facing, what's its room, that like exit area, that the whatever the registration thing. So I don't know. I don't know, because I mean, you know, the boss knows, but I don't know.
I'm not
what
familiar with the
convention
green
is.
room.
So you'll be moved back. It should be the same space. Like the space will be the same, but you'll be moved back down the hallway just a little bit.
Well, I mean, when I walk in the doors from the street, I'm looking right at my room. When you say back a little bit, to the right, to the left.
No, so you know how
into...
main events was behind you?
Yes.
There was a room between main events and you.
Oh. That doesn't sound like it could possibly be the same size.
It was. I mean, because all of that's the ballrooms cut in half. All of those were, you know, that was the ballroom A or whatever, cut in half. It may not be the same size, but if it's not, it's, you know.
I'm just wondering why they didn't stick the other groups into a different room instead of like stick them in the green room.
You mean the other?
The people taking over my room.
That's operations.
Oh shit!
You get it? Do you get it? It's kind of like, you know, instead of like moving the people who had to be moved into a room that was empty, so the green room obviously got moved as well. So
the green room's just going to be the back of stage.
Okay.
So
yes,
we had that space that was between there was a space for the cosplayers to go in and prep for the cosplay contest. All other times during the convention, that room really wasn't in use.
What's the entry into that room? Do they have to go through?
It's going to be in that hallway, the same hallway as main events.
Okay, so they'll have to turn and go down the hallway and then turn right after.
Like I said, it's only for this year, though. Everything goes back to normal next year.
Without seeing the room, it makes me hesitant to go through with some of my plans, because if it's not as big, it won't be able to
you'll
see
need to talk to
things.
you'll need to talk to your director about that, because you'll need to know what the size of that room is. Yeah. And the reason that operations took over your space is because they need to be front facing in the hallway, so that they can answer questions.
So where's video 1 and video 2 going?
Downstairs. They're going into the basement.
In the basement.
So the con's getting 2 to 3 brand new rooms this year, or?
Oh no, we've always had the basement. We just Amanda doesn't like basements.
Yeah, I didn't put any programming down there yet.
Yeah, I mean, we usually just
think of it this way, video. You're not being shunted down to the basement, out of the way. You're just you're blazing the trail for more programming down there.
Well, and really, honestly, I have a theory, and this is totally tinfoil hat, which is in like I've got nothing to back this up. That Amanda is from New Orleans, and there are no basements in New Orleans. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. No, I mean, like when we were at the Sheraton, she was like, we had 2 entire ballrooms that were below the floor that we were on, and she wouldn't even go in there. Now, to be fair, I went to that bottom ballroom, and it was creepy AF. I mean, it was super creepy. I don't think I would have wanted to do anything except for, like, you know, a horror con down there. But that's so. I mean, like, I couldn't blame her on that one. But yeah, we don't really, what it's boiled down to is we've been slowly expanding our programming to fill the volume of people that we have, and we've been growing really fast. And there's been talk about moving into the rooms in the basement too. We just haven't done it yet. And now that this happened, we'll be doing it. And it'll be sort of a fair weather check on whether that works or not, you know?
Yeah, I'm already predicting that we will have less attendance this year, since we won't be noticeable. People will have to know where we are and intentionally seek us out, instead of walking past us and going, oh, there's a game room, and walking into it.
So, and that may happen we also can mitigate that. I mean, if I were you, I'd like, let's start figuring out how to mitigate that with social media and stuff, which we should be doing anyway. Getting more into the social media. I mean, here on Geek Tank, we can tell you right now, if you're coming to NDK, remember
there's a whole
the
designated
dojo
social
will
media
be
person
in this back hallway. Have you noticed that Troy is getting slowly fuzzier?
Yep.
Did he lean back away from the camera?
I think it's like every time I start to talk, but guy talks, it gets fuzzier.
Yeah.
I had to leave last time to make it work. Ha. But, if I take my glasses off, it's not fuzzy. Starbucks. See, it's all in focus. I pull it back and then I lean forward. Can I trick it into following me? Nope. I also have to sit closer like this. Well, since Starbucks isn't our sponsor, we might as well talk about who our actual sponsors are.
Yeah, we probably ought to, because we've come up. Hey, we managed to, just kind of chat and, sort of thing. Just saying. All right. Just so you guys all know, Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and your
mom.
All righty.
We still have those miniatures we should do a live painting of.
I agree. I have Alex's miniature for.
No, I think they got given to me.
Oh, I do not
Mariah
have Alex's
gave it to
miniature.
me. And I was like, wait, why am I getting this? Everyone's just doing this like in person with each other. Confusion.
Well, because otherwise it'd be with me, and then we'd get together, and everybody would look at me and go, "Where's Alex's one?" And I'd be like, "At home, probably." So it's safer with you. It's just safer with you.
Yeah, if we want, we could get together sometime after I drop my kids. Well, actually, you're now daytime occupied with work, Alex. So there goes that plan.
It's true.
So we will have to pick a different date when people are free. Oh heck, how are we going to do?
Occupied. I mean, at some point in time, you go to 410s, yeah.
I'm doing 410s right now. In fact.
Right. You're doing it right now.
Oh wow.
I'm doing it right now.
Because like that could, I mean, we could easily.
We should plan it on one of the days that we have our Father's Day get together, or not Father's Day, but Father's get together thing.
Yeah.
Since James is back in town.
James is back in town. James is okay.
What cool board game did you get there, Bob? That you have a bunch of miniatures to paint for?
Yeah. Now
there's so many cool board games with lots of miniatures. And my kids are playing a computer game. I'll get the name wrong entirely if I don't look it up first. Something galactic. something evil.
Dark side. Something complete.
I can find it here really quick. Oh yeah, Star Wars Legion. That's it's a lot of miniatures in that game.
There really are, and wonderful miniatures too, I might add.
Yeah, the miniature quality's gotten better on a lot of stuff, but he's got to look it up. Understandable. But Les, our friend Les, there they are. I just have to look into comments so I can look up what the name of it was. Deep Rock Galactic. So they're playing, my kiddos are playing a video game of that, and then Les posted some painted miniatures, and Nick was like, hey, that's from the game we've been playing. Is there a board game? And sure enough, there's a board game with them in it. I'm like, I just want to get the miniatures. I don't want to buy the board game.
Endless Winter Paleo. Oh, America.
All right.
Yeah, actually, I've been seeing minis from various games, starships I don't recognize, which is kind of cool because that doesn't happen very often. And I'm rather enjoying our sort of renaissance that we're in now, where, there once was a time where if it was a starship, I knew it, but now there's so much media out there that there are spaceships I've never seen before. And I'm like, that is so cool.
You old guy, you old.
Also, we're in a renaissance. I mean, legit. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on out there that the geeks have inherited the earth,
Yeah, they're interesting looking art style for the game Bob's talking about. They're kind of squat and wide. It reminds me a little bit of tiniest bit of ElfQuest. That was the name of that comic. If they were plumper.
Plump.
Yeah, one's got a corgi. I think it's supposed to be a husky, actually. Corgis don't do so great in the winter, probably. It's the whole corgi dog sleigh team.
That so short.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what game I saw recently with a ton of spaceships, but I didn't send it to you, Guy, because I know you just agonize over not being able to buy it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Legit. Well, I mean, like, the good news is that though there are so many spaceships out there now, not all of them are cool looking to me anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so that actually helps. Like, I've seen a couple of games. I'm like, nice, but I don't need it. Homeworld has a set out, and I'm like, Homeworld ships are kind of pretty though.
Oh, that might be the one, actually, because that's based on a video game you used to play, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's the one.
And it's nostalgic, which means that I.
So you'd already seen it.
Yeah.
I
saw the new Kickstarter for BattleTech.
I haven't even painted the BattleTech I have.
I'm like,
right?
I'm like sitting there going, I need, because mechs, the BattleTech mechs, they are pretty classy.
Like, you got BattleTech at home. It's
like that's some good stuff. And I still have all of the Robotech stuff to do still.
I grabbed a couple of games off of a place called Miniature Market because they had a big sell and they were insanely cheap. I want to say it was like $80 game for like $15.
Wow.
Or something like that, called Reichbusters. It's all about killing Nazis.
Dun, 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 dun,
Like,
dun, dun.
I want to paint these miniatures.
So what is it with, there's something weird coming up, like Nazis keep showing up. Like,
those bastards.
In weird places. Like I was on Steam and there was apparently a game where you play as Hitler and have sex with all these women. And I'm like, A, why am I getting this? And B, what the hell were you guys thinking making this game? Like, I'm like, I don't even know. That's not the kind of games I play. So I'm trying to figure out, how did that end up on my... If you like Sims, you'll like sex as Hitler. I'm like, what?
Hitler sex.
I'm like,
mine's trumpet.
Yeah,
like, the heck is going on?
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe you're sleep playing different games, secret account.
I guess I must be downloading wrong games somehow.
Oh, it's a Steam game.
Yeah, it's a Steam game. And I don't remember what it's called because I said,
hey, you want to take a guess?
Huh?
Take a guess. Take a guess at what it's called. You'll get
Sex
it right.
with Hitler?
You got it.
Not sex as Hitler? What's up with that?
Released January 2022, so it's been out for.
See, now you're gonna get it on the wish list.
No, I'm not on Steam, so this is.
Yeah, but I'm like sitting there going.
I'm just trying to find out who made it, so I can find out what their nationality is.
Right.
So while Troy's doing that,
yes,
there was something that I didn't. I'd gotten last week, but we didn't get a chance to talk about. As we were talking about, death and grief. So back when I had money a few years ago, I kickstarted this thing called Cube-a-Majigs. So Cube is a Magic the Gathering format where you curate a set of cards and then you make fake booster packs. Basically 15 card packs or 14 card packs. Just randomized from your cube, and then people draft them as though they were booster pack drafts. Well, the Cubamajigs are reusable plastic packs that fit like 14 or 15 double sleeve cards. And I bought basically one of each of them so I can get all the different arts and all the different art boxes and such
Oh.
like. And so I can, I do have one cube put together. It's a set cube. And I also have another cube I'm building. It's another type of set cube. And yeah, so you can just do all this prep work when I'm like watching something or hanging out at home. And then when we do a game night or something, I can whip out the Shadows over Innistrad cube and we can have some fun.
That's interesting.
I'm really into
Yeah,
that idea.
Bob's saying that he's still got all of his Robotech minis to do.
Yeah.
There are so many of them.
Me.
I'm looking forward to. I still am looking forward to painting all of those guys. They're a pain in the butt, but they were still cool, and so. And now I've got two sets, so I've got a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm not very good at draft. Like I've done some draft and done okay, but we did do my Shadows over Innistrad cube once, and I did it. I had to do it all there at the time, so like we show up like 2 hours early to set everything up, and then we did the whole thing, which takes a few hours. This way I can do that front loading part at home. But it's like we're sitting there, and my friends are worse at draft than I am. We had a full pot of 8 people, and I got past cards that I should not have been past in a million years. Just very powerful, game-changing, winning cards. And so when the first one of them got past me, I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm pivoting. I'm going to show you all why you should not have passed this card. And I proceeded to beat them up with it.
Wow,
it's good.
Hey, one of my feathers, one of the feathers in my cap is you were at. The name will come to me in a minute. Wes is the name of the guy who runs it.
Atomic Games West.
Atomic Games West. You were there doing a 2016 draft, and you're like, "Hey, what do you recommend?" And I was looking through your cards, and that's when I first saw Lone Rider.
Oh, it was sealed. It was sealed.
It's sealed.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, dude. You need to put him in that, and you did really well from what I remember.
Yeah, no, I wound up because it wasn't only that, because like I was like, you know what, I have like these cards here that are very powerful, and I remember this conversation. It's like so I kind of want to go this way, but I think this is actually it. And you know, like it was black white, it was life gain and removal, and like it was a kind, and like I'd gotten 3 Lone Riders in that pool.
Yeah,
and you're like, dude, fuck that other shit.
Yep,
this is the shit you need to use. And I think I wound up winning that one.
Oh, cool.
There we go. It's very good. It's very good.
And speaking of Magic, and we're getting back to new podcasts, I still want to do that thing where we cover a set's keywords, and that we just have to figure out a time we can all hang out and record that.
Yeah,
right.
And I found a card that you should use, Guy, to make your robot Transformers Voltron Robotech whatever commander deck. Its creature type doesn't fit, but because it's unless if you consider, I guess it's martial arts, legendary creature Djinn Monk. But he's the red, white, and blue colors, which I think you were using. His things that really matter is you may look at the top card of your library any time. You may cast the I lied. I gotta go back and is it this guy? It was some guy that made all your pilots like pilot better. And I remember you're working on a pilot deck.
Yeah.
All right.
And if he's human, it still fits.
Yeah,
because Bumblebee helps the humans, gives them extra powers. Or Goldbug. As long as Goldbug is out in play, all the humans have benefits. So I'm sticking to humans and human pilots so that Goldbug's functions can operate with that. So
yeah. I think I saved it somewhere else. I'll have to find it another time. But when I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's a legendary creature, and it does all this cool vehicle stuff, and it makes
it's
your pilots...
probably the commander from Caladan. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and it's
It might
actually
be.
I've got that commander for my commander deck. So because he does all kinds of wild stuff for pilots.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's definitely. And of course, since it's the commander deck, I have all 3 of the cards that came with it. You know, the card that you could put in the deck, then the thicker card that you could use as your commander card, and then I cut the card off the back of the box. So we could play him in multiple decks. I can make
Nice.
different decks, you know.
Cool. Yeah,
So
I'm really
one of
enjoying
them's holographic, which is really cool.
I'm really enjoying being useful on the beginner Magic group that I'm part of, because somebody had posted some guy and he's like, I don't get why this guy's good. And I'm like, he has the ability can be used as an instant, and he didn't realize creature abilities could be used as instances, and he was doing it on his turn, which tapped it. And he's like, now it's tapped for the entire turn and I can get attacked. It's like, no. Wait till the end turn of the guy just before your turn, then use the ability. Then you get to untap him on your turn and keep him as a blocker. So it's all these little things like that. I've been getting into it since I can tell I want to try to do another Kamigawa thing for NDK this year.
Yeah.
I was also thinking...
I was just thinking about this since Alex was talking about it. Alex was talking about, like, I'm the one that always does that, what Alex is talking about, and then I always feel stupid. So it's like, I hate that part. Like, you know, I'm like, I don't know what this card's useful for. Okay, I'll pass it to Alex. That Alex is like, and then I'm like,
yeah, I didn't understand that tap to win meant tap to win.
Right. If Alex has this card, you lose. You should write that on all of these cards, Alex. Do not give this card to Alex.
Yep. I think it was.
I gotta keep this card. I don't know why, but I gotta keep this card.
I think it was Mariah who suggested that Alex and myself run a sort of like a tutorial school for everybody on deck building.
Yeah. I mean, because like I'm building decks the same way I built them in the 90s, and I know that that's just probably not very efficient anymore, and there's probably a whole bunch more logic and concept. But again, I'm only playing you guys really nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so truthfully, as long as we all follow Alex's rules of Magic, I tend to have a fine time playing with you guys. You know, as long as nobody's bringing out jerk decks that are designed to kill people in one turn, you know, we're good.
I've never had the cards to make a one-turn deck kill, but there was a tournament where I was able to pull off a turn 2 kill, and the best part was against Sonny. So, it only worked against him. It didn't work against anybody else, but I was fine with that.
Well, I mean, it's like both James and I run artifacts, and so you know, shatter storms and things like that suck, and that goes against Alex's laws there. You know.
Yeah, it's like, you know, don't just counterplay just to counterplay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, Bob? Are you doing the swipey thingy? Because I can't do that. The one where you do, you know, like these things. Chelsea did that too, and I can't ever get that straight. When Bob's saying that he's making typos, and I was thinking, he's like, my swiping is off tonight, and I'm like, is he doing the thing?
Yeah. That little swipe thing doesn't work so well when you're not swiping.
Right? Because like
Swiper,
like,
stop swiping.
Yep.
You know, I can't do that. I end up still doing the. You know. In the end, I'm still. Actually, who was it? Oh, I was with a buddy of mine, and she was saying I missed my BlackBerry, and I thought, you know what I really need to do is make one of those little, you know, BlackBerry faces that just snaps onto your phone, and then you just click all the little buttons, and it passes through to the keyboard on your phone. Because she was saying she could text without looking on that because she could feel where the buttons were, you know, as opposed to this is all smooth. You can't feel where those buttons are. So
was it laid out as the same as a keyboard, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I mean, if you've memorized the keyboard keys, then that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, I have a hard time with just typing here and looking here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I'll type down here to type things, and while looking up at the top part of the screen, it'll start, instead of only, it types in 09LY, and you're like, ugh, you have to go back and, it's like, because you just miss the N just a little bit, and, yeah, so maybe that's what I will figure out how to do. And if I make $1 billion, then we can afford to do our podcasts.
Maybe invent a thing where we can just talk into it and it actually understands us instead of.
Mariah does that all the time, though. I mean, like she's constantly talking into her phone. I mean, everything. She never types anymore. All of her posts are all talking into the phone.
I try that, and you're lucky if it says what I'm saying.
Well, and Dad had the same problem. Something about the accent. And my dad didn't have a thick accent. I mean, he had an accent, but he didn't have it wasn't like he was the classic deep South accent, but it had the same problem. And I'm like, you were clear as day. I understood every word. Why is the phone talking about dogs and horses and stuff? I mean, where is it getting these words from? And I have the same thing with you. I guess that there must be something in the codec that, some of us just, something's weird, So it's a thing. I don't know where I was going with that one, but I'm sure it was very important.
I'm sure it was.
Star Trek Picard Season 3 is kicking butt. It's pretty awesome. I'm liking it a lot.
Did they know going into it that it was going to be the last season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good. So they can work towards an actual ending instead of getting cut off in the middle of the story.
Like Discovery just did? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Discovery's going to be canceled at the end of Season 5. They're going to go back and reshoot the last 2 episodes so they can give it a good, proper send-off. And they're going to close it down. Picard was designed to be 3 seasons from the very beginning. Patrick Stewart said, I didn't really want to... He's like, I'm 81, It's like, I can't really... I don't have the longevity anymore. And so... And it looks like they're doing they are really doing a good send off for the next gen, specifically the next gen culture. Although it's now bringing in DS9 elements, so that's kind of cool too. So it's been good.
I'm putting forth a Herculean. I can't talk now. It's just saying it's Herculean effort to plan for next podcast. I'm searched for what the next holiday is on April 3rd, and it's Independent Artist Day. Do we know any independent artists?
The sad part is I don't think we know any independent artists.
Do they even exist?
I don't know.
It's not. They're a myth. Mythological. Oh, speaking of myth, I saw somebody had stabilized the old 1973 Sasquatch footage, Bigfoot footage.
Really?
And stabilized. It really does look like some dude in a furry suit walking along.
No way.
It's like once you stabilize it, you're like, well, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, you could have told me that Sasquatch was a dude. But Sasquatch is something you haven't seen before. Sasquatch is something I haven't seen before.
There are so many Easter eggs.
There's a lot of stuff on April 3rd. Fish fingers and custard day.
Ugh, that's gross.
Fan dance day.
That's a Doctor Who reference.
This is better. National Chocolate Mousse Day. I'll go for some chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse. No, fish fingers and custard is Matt Smith, Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. National Gray Day.
The combat tribble. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I was like, stupid jump scare. Except I kind of had a feeling,
You got jump scared?
I got jump scared by frickin' Star Trek.
By a tribble?
by a tribble, no less.
Mm-hmm. Well, they make a sound that's like designed for the jump scare
Jump
kind
scare?
of thing. Yeah.
No, that's not what it was. It was they made a killer tribble, and so it of course attacks the tribbles have become an entertaining subplot of Star Trek all the way across.
Just the tribble with teeth.
Yeah. I saw it. I definitely saw it. Brent, I did.
Yeah, I need to go back through, I think, and which show was it that we were worried about jump scares on? It wasn't Last of Us, it was something else. There was some show that you wanted me to make sure there weren't jump scares in it. Now I can't remember.
Oh
what it
yeah,
is.
it's The Boys.
Oh, next season
As
of The
long
Boys.
as long as that particular superhero is in there, I'd like for you to just track the episodes where that happens, because it's actually giving me anxiety watching the episodes because I don't know when it's going to happen. And so it's giving me total anxiety. So it's like, as long as you're like, this episode's fine, don't worry about it. It never happens this episode. Or it does happen, I'll tell you when, as long as that's sort of in there. It's just that one. Because I was actually realizing that towards the end, I'm getting anxious watching The Boys. And I'm like, this isn't good. So, yeah, that's what it is. Because I'm enjoying The Boys so much. I'd hate to stop watching it because I'm too anxious. It's making me agitated. So I know that particular character is probably going to end up dead at some point. Like, odds are good, but
that's just
until
how it
that
is
happens,
with most of them.
Probably gruesomely, I might add, because it is The Boys. But until that occurs,
what fun would it be if characters just died peacefully in their sleep?
Oh, Bob, it's I don't know whether I can say it without.
The question is, are you caught up?
Yeah, how caught up? You've got to be past a certain season.
And I'll say it's the superhero with the power that's an homage to Scanners.
Yeah, there you go, Scanner superhero.
Yes.
I think Bob's gonna be like, oh. But since it happens out of the blue and it completely is like, the problem is that I'm now sitting there waiting for it to happen in every scene. I'm expecting it to happen, and I'm just getting more and more anxious. And it's like,
and I didn't catch on to that, or I would have told you, don't worry about it.
Right. Well, I didn't think about it until this last time we were watching, and I'm like, I am legitimately like getting anxious here. Like, it's raising my blood pressure and stuff. I'm like, oh, I probably should tell Troy, hey, Troy, please just note the episodes where that occurs so that I can be comfortable sitting here.
Right.
So, because I was like, I just don't know when it could happen. It could happen at any time. I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's one of those things. I'm going to. It's about time for me.
I think
I
don't think it happened at all. If it did, it was only like once in season 3. But I can't remember for sure.
Yeah.
But they definitely set up moments where it's like it seems like it's going to happen, or that there's something that's jump scary-ish going to happen. All right. Well, cool. I guess
I'm just setting up our show because our show's already starting to roll for the night. But I'm still with you for another 4 minutes and something.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, unless we have anything else.
Did we go into a lot of details in an episode about the AI art stuff? I know we've covered it, but I wasn't sure if we covered a whole show on it.
I don't feel like, and it's evolved.
my computer's shutting down, so the AI heard I'm talking about it.
Right.
So I'll say goodnight. Someone else shut the show out.
Yeah, I'll shut the
Must be
show
Guy.
out.
I can't do it.
So we'll talk about it later because that's all the time we have for today. I've been Guy.
That's been Troy, and I've been Alex.
And this is Geek Tank. And then I have to push all the buttons because, like, totally not ready for the button pushing.
All of that!
All the buttons. And then what will happen?